Well, good morning, beloved. It's great to be here today, and I'm excited about this particular message in helping you plan and execute through a financial crisis. So how do you survive it? We've already went through the steps of looking at our finances. We've already gotten our mind right and moving in that direction. Yes, I'm going to get through this. Yes, God has a plan for me. Yes, I will prevail. And now we kind of are at a stage of creative planning. Now, in this particular area, I'm going to take you to some scriptures here and show you, okay, because we got to have a right mind. We know that. We're just building. It's not going to happen all at once that it's there. These are steps that as we implement them, you'll be able to see what you couldn't see before. Now, in the book of James 1:5, we're going to start here. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith. So see, last week we looked at our mind and our faith, coupling those together. For he that wavereth, nothing wavering, for he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. Let not a man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord, for a double-minded man's unstable in all his ways. We are not double-minded. We are moving to being single-minded and moving to the stage of planning. So we've looked at our finances. You've removed all the drips, the drops, the parasites. You're looking and saying, wow, you're now becoming aware of what's happening, we may say, with the financial market in your own home. Where's the money going? Where do we have money? This message today is to show you ways and how you can maneuver through creatively. Now, I've learned a few things. I was homeless at age 15, and so I've learned things that have helped me along the way. I also have the Word of God that has been what has sustained me through all of it. So these are things that are application-based that anybody can do. So the first thing is, okay, you need a plan. Now, when it is time for a plan, you can write down every single idea that you have. And during a brainstorming session, we don't stop to decry this idea or that idea. No, we write every single thing down. So what are the things that we can do? How do we maneuver through? We're looking at where can we cut out, just like maybe we all need a Doge to come into our home. Not in all fullness, but you get the idea, because we already have it. We have the Holy Spirit, right? So it's already there. So Holy Spirit, where and in what way can I reduce expenditures? In what ways can I increase and multiply? So these are simple that anybody can do. Now, the first is you've already taken a look at, well, I'm spending money on this, that, or the other. I will tell you some of the things that I have done many years ago. I did not know this, but a friend of mine who genius tech guy, shared this with me. Now, I was going along like most people, paying my cell phone bill, was on a 3G plan at that time, loved my phone, loved the carrier, and then I had the hotspot, which was for work. I didn't need home internet because I was on the go and had everything all in order. Until a friend of mine explained to me, he says, so we got to talking about cell phones and plans, so on and so forth. And he brought up to me how by switching carriers and reducing a bunch of stuff that I had in my plan, I would be saving over $200 a month. And that was incredible to me. I also learned that when people are on a pay-as-you-go or in a no contract, the taxes and fees are less. So in that, I saved almost $18 in fees. So just to give you an idea of this, I have a calculator here because of course I do. 18, if it will work, 18 times 12, it's $216 a year. Now, I was with my carrier for 17 years. That's $3,672 I could have saved. I didn't know. Study thyself approved. So I switched to a different carrier and saved that amount of money, which then I started putting in savings. Not in the bank, but in my own personal savings places. So that is one way. You can look at your cell phone bill and look at what you're actually paying. That's one way. So that really helped me out. It was creative and it was a risk because I really liked my carrier, and then what does it matter? It's the same cell phone service. And when I started seeing it, it's like, oh, well, they're better on the East Coast than they are in the South. So that's one area. Then I also looked at my not internet bill, but my cable bill. And for all the channels, there's only 4 things that I watched, but I found that more options means more watching, and I didn't need it, so I canceled that too. And have not had a cable subscription, I don't know, maybe 15 years. And I was saving, again, that was like $140 a month. So right there, another saving, so just to break this down for you, 140, okay, so, and maybe not everybody is at that place of doing that, I understand that, times 12, oh well, 140 times 12, that's $1,680 a year. Now I know many people have gone on the subscriptions with the Hulu and Netflix and Amazon and Apple and all the other stuff, but calculate how much and what it actually is that you're watching. You may find that it's not the value that you may have thought that it is. So what I then started doing was there's a program I used to really enjoy watching, so I would pay for the subscription for the 3 months of that time, and it was $7 a month, so I paid for that, and then I'd cancel because I didn't need it any other time of the year. So that's one way, okay? We're getting creative with what's working for me, not what's working for them. Now, another area of planning with getting through a crisis, a financial crisis, is planning your meals. The price of food has gone up. We already know this. We can speak to this. I can tell you things that I used to pay that I still eat today were $1.67 are now $3.79. So the planning of the meals, that's a big increase right there. But when you start to plan your meals, number one, you are knowing what you're eating. Number two, you're not going to be eating aimlessly at whatever god is on the street corner that's selling you fake food, which you're going to save money there. It used to be years ago, and my friends laugh because I remember the prices of everything. When you start paying attention, you can't not see it. What I used to pay $5.85 for, and even less for a burrito, we'll just say at Chipotle's, now over $10, and I don't eat there anymore. My tooth felt, I don't eat there anymore. That's a whole situation. I don't eat there. I don't eat at most places when you start to see what it really is. It's a whole situation, but when you plan your meals, you will find that now you are on the offense and not the defense. You will be eating to eat and not because you're emotional or after the fact hungry. Your decision making will be better, which means you will be saving money. Now, many of you know this, but it is worth repeating that when you plan your meals, if you shop by what the grocery store inserts are, you can maximize your money, okay? You can get a maximization of what is on sale, and you may say, yeah, but I don't really want that this week. No, but you can buy what's on sale and then have what is for the next week and still have more. So there is a way to maneuver through the system. There's always a way. Now, this is a strategic one that a lot of people do not know about. I love, 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 love this that I'm going to tell you. If you go back to let's see, I don't know what year it is, but I'm going to find out for you. And this is something that you all may remember, but I'm going to, if you are of age to remember, but I'm going to show you this. Give me 1 second. And this has saved me so much money. Watch. Okay, watch this. Let's see if this will work. Well, let's see here. A song. This is something that I'll play for you and not get stuck with any copyrights. Oh boy, this might, never mind this. Okay, so the song is called, they're giving me every kid's video. I'm not into all that. 867-5309, Jenny's number. Why is this important? Because there's savings in Jenny's number. How does it work? Okay, I'm so glad you asked. So let's say that you have one of those, the numbers, and you go to any of these stores and they want your number, and then they want your firstborn, and you know, all the other stuff that they use to sell you more stuff that you really don't want. So Jenny's number, 867-5309. Then you put your area code. So 713-867-5309. And guess what'll happen? People that know about Jenny's number all use Jenny's number, and the points get added up. Then you compound this with prayer, and then when you go and use it, guess what? You get the blessings. So let me tell you how it's worked, because this I've done for years, and it's so exciting. So I recently went into a shoe store and typed in Jenny's number, and guess what? I got $15 off the shoes. $15 off because enough points have accrued. Okay, I was at Walgreens, which I'll come circle back around again to Walgreens, but was at Walgreens, and guess what? Typed in Jenny's number. I got $16 off, and I had a lot of stuff, but it was $16 off of all of that was there. So I was like, oh, if I'm getting $16 off, I can still build in my cart and pay nothing. Awesome. Okay, it works at any store that has where they ask for your number. So you're helping everyone else accumulate while also remaining private. So if you've ever heard of doing that, please let me know in the comments. And if you've not and you try it, I want to know. So I have used that, and I have gotten bundles of savings. Okay, so we're planning our meals. We're going off of what is in the inserts. Use Jenny's number for the savings, and the savings are there. Okay, now the other thing in planning is planning your, and I've got this as a separate message, but prayer. You've got to have your prayer life in order. But when you're planning, okay, what's my prayer plan? Am I giving my bills to the Lord? Okay, Lord, I thank you that this bill is paid. Okay, now here's another one. Another way of planning. When you have errands, schedule all your errands together, so that way you're not going home and then here and home and then here and home and then here. You're wasting fuel. So by having a plan, okay, it's a financial crisis. In what way can I maximize my fuel? Which I'll cover more about that in another message. What ways can I maximize my fuel? In what ways can I maximize my time? And also get things done decently and in order. Planning your errands helps. Now, another arena is whatever you use when it goes on sale, bulk buy. I'll give you another example of this. If you happen to see a store, a grocery store, or a Walgreens, or any type of store that is going out of business, and they sell items that you use, buy them in bulk. So, Kroger Kroger, which is King Soopers in some places, was closing the location near me. When I went in there, the soap, the little soft soaps, were clearanced at 25 cents. Now, do I care if it's pomegranate or pear? No, I need clean hands, and whatever the smell is, I don't care. It's 25 cents, down from $1.19. So I bought all of them. Yes, I did. And the lady behind me in the checkout, I just told her, I got a lot of kids. They get dirty. I mean, I need a lot of soap. But so why is this a good buy? Never mind the price of it, but that now, and this was years ago, and I still have a lot of soap, which is fine. Now you might say, yes, but you have to have the place to store it. Yes, that's a separate thing. But then you pray for creativity, and God will always show you where and how to store things of the nature. So with that, I know that the next time that I go and buy hand soap, it probably will be like $2.37, if not more. Right now, some of them are between $1.19 and some of them now are like $1.87 for what I paid 25 cents for. Okay, so now guess what? Now I'm stocked through that particular time. Whatever financial crisis, I've got soap, I got paper towels. There's things of that nature that when you see it, get it, because you will use it. I shared this with a friend of mine who was buying something at a local store. I don't remember what it was, not something like gum or chapstick, and they were on sale. So I told him to buy them all. He uses a lot of chapstick. He thought this might be overkill, so he only bought like 10. And I say only, but he bought 10. And even like 6 months, he's still saying, oh, it's so nice. I don't have to think about going and buying. I already have it. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to not become hoarders, but move through in planning that I know I use this. And because I know I use this, now I've got it. I don't have to think, which also I don't have to go and buy it, which I save time and I save money, and I already have it. And I've got a system in place for the use of it. It works great. Same thing with dog food. The same thing with anything that you use. When it goes on sale, stock up on what you use. Now, another plan to help you through financial crisis is that we also know that everything is increasing. Clothing is increasing. You may have noticed going into the stores, it's lesser quality. I mean, most of the dresses and skirts used to come with liners. Now, most of them don't. The stitching is terrible. The fabric is now, at many stores, recycled polyester, which that's alarming. We're not even at cotton anymore. It's terrible. It's not even worth the buy. So it's better to rewear what you've owned and restyle it. I have a background in fashion, and I reuse most items because what I bought years ago is better quality than what is in the stores now, and I refuse to pay for junk. I do not do it. Now, you may say, well, I have children, they're growing. Okay, so here's a few options and things that I also used to do many years ago. I used to host clothing swaps. I did it for large size and charities, but also I've done it in homes. Very, very simple. Ladies, you say, okay, well, I have all these clothes that I don't wear. Invite your friends over. Everyone cleans out their closets, and then you exchange the clothes that you don't wear for other clothes that you will. Of course, pray over them. That's just a thing that I always do anytime I get anything. And now you've got new things. You can also do that with your children. If you have children from the PTA or children in the children's groups in church, there's always ways to be creative in the planning. Okay, so we know we've got to get through, at least through the time that school starts. Okay, so now what, and I know, yes, we've not ended school or right close to it, but we have to be forward thinking. So knowing that we've got to get through this time, that is another avenue. Clothing swaps work great. Then the rest of the clothes can either be saved and stored, which I used to collect them and save them and store them, and then they were given in another outreach program to the homeless. So I was part of the division of my business many years ago. But there's so much clothing that ends up in all these third world countries that are just being drowned out with all the fabrics, and we are living in a time where people are spending money unnecessarily on junk. Do you really need more sheen, shine stuff? Really? Let's go for quality, and you will have less, higher quality, and the quality of what you purchase will always be evident, number one, and number two, you won't regret paying for it. So as you get creative in planning, well, what's my wardrobe? What do I need? Especially now, before everything is just fully collapsed, you can be moving in a way where you always have a plan, and you're planning and doing something on your way to doing something. Now, in the book of Psalms, it is in Psalms, I have written down Psalms 119. Oops, the longest Psalm here, 105. Okay, now look at this. The word is a lamp under my feet and a light under my path. Okay, so the word, here is the word. It's going to be directing you. You are creative. Many of you will come and say, I'm not creative. Well, then you are. And I'm going to say that you are. And if you are saying that you're not, then you're really going to struggle, because God created you creatively, and when you start to see that the word is a light under my path, well, then the path is going to be right there for you to follow, and everything that you need will be on that particular path. If you're looking at ways to get money and ways to survive through a financial crisis, it will require creativity. You're more creative than you think. It might just be in a different area than someone else. Now, the other place that you can go to is missingmoney.com. Just type your name in, and I know when I shared this years ago with my ministry partners, 3 of them got missing money. I also did too. It's $38. Okay, you know what I can do with $38? I can get a lot done with $38. Doesn't sound like much, but it doesn't take much to get a lot done. And when you get creative, you can see where it all is. Okay, so now we're planning, how are we going to get through this particular time? Now, another element that many of you might find challenging, but is for the benefit of all of us, and that is using cash. Start using cash. Why? Because studies continue to show that when people use cash, they spend less money. If you have a $100 bill, are you going to want to break it for a $5 item? Probably not, which means you're not going to spend that money on that thing that you probably don't need. If it's a card, it just gets swiped or tapped, which, by the way, you want to tap the card, not swipe, because when you swipe, the number shows up, and when you tap it, the number doesn't, so you get hacked less. So when you use cash, guess what will happen? Most likely you might get change back. Then you collect the change. So what I've been doing for years is all that change that comes back from using cash, it goes in a jar, and every 6 months I might have $200 to $300 that now I can do something else with. And now I've got that as a buffer. It might go toward paying a bill. The ministry might have a need, this, that, or the other, and I'm aware. See, we go back to my first message on this about paying attention. The whole thing is to get everyone docile and not paying attention. When you start walking in a place of financial awareness, you will start to see it's everywhere. Now, another 2 more things that I can help you with planning would be, okay, so what is it that we need to get through this time? Okay, we've done that. Some things that I've done are the stores like Walgreens and CVS, Dwayne Wade. I know that many of the stores are closing because of violence and all the other stuff that's going on in the United States, but if you still have one in your neighborhood, check it out. So again, going back to Jenny's number, love Jenny's number, I've used Jenny's number at Walgreens. There's a time where when you go into Walgreens, they've got the tickets, you can look at the tickets, and you can see a lot of things that go on the clearance. Now, when they have their closeouts and they're remodeling, I still have the receipts, I'm sure. $1,189 bill, and I spent less than $30 on all the items. It was clearanced. They were getting rid of it all. Things that I knew I would use, okay? In another instance, the clearance items, they were clearing out laundry detergent. It was marked down to 28 cents. Buy one, get one half price. Okay, so I buy one at 28 cents and I get the next one for 14 cents. So 28 cents plus 14, that's what, 42 cents for 100 loads of laundry? Okay, I'm in, so I bought them all. And then guess what? I got to the counter and then I had coupons, because the Ginny's number works. So I paid less than $4 for 28 containers of laundry detergent. I'm set for life. But then I gave some to other ministry partners, and now I'm set. See, many people discount, think, well, they're so expensive. But when they have, and it's easy to just do a walkthrough, you look for the tags, you see, and then you can get the purchases, be on your way, use Ginny's number, and now you've got what you need through these times. So now what is costing like $8 to $10, I've already got it, and I can be making my own as I go through, but now I'm already set. So those things are not a big deal. Okay. Now, that's one area. I knew there was something else I was going to share with you. The other thing too that a lot of people in other nations don't use are napkins, and napkins are very costly, but you can get, instead of just wasting napkin or paper towels, just go to your local Home Goods and buy the microfiber cloths and use those, and then you can wash them. And sure, you might say, yeah, but that costs money. Well, it's actually more cost effective than going through all of the paper towels and napkins. So we're opening up our eyes. What is the plan? What is the plan for my daily spending? What is the plan for my meals? What is the plan within my household that I can utilize what I have and multiply it? Now, another thing that studies also find, and this is a tricky one, may not apply to everyone. However, this is something that if you have two people in the household that are working, husband and wife are working, and you have children, studies have actually found that especially if you have young children and they are of daycare age, studies have found continuously that if one person stays home with the children, that you will save money. You'll save money in driving to work, in car repairs, in fuel. You'll save money in tolls, as well as in daycare expenses and all the food for lunch. So there's a lot of money that when you look at what your plan is, you may say, wait a minute here. Maybe instead of us both working, we're spending a lot of money for both of us working. Maybe one of us does. And then maybe there's other ways that work can be done in the home that would bring forth income that could then be set to get through. Okay, so we have to be moving in a way where we're pliable and adaptable to where we're going and what we're doing, with some form of a plan so that we can get through. Car repairs are costly, and it's not to say, well, we better move and decrease and decrease and decrease till we're nothing, because God's word tells us we should be increasing. What we're looking at is not ways to decrease, but we're looking at ways to shift, to rearrange, to increase and multiply and expand and grow. Okay, we're not looking to diminish. We're looking to thrive during a survival time. Okay, so if you are single, it may be that you build a network in your community of other single people, and when one person's going to the grocery store, well, do you need anything? Do you need anything? And then you can operate in that way. One other thing by planning meals is it gets you away from using the DoorDash and Grubhub and all the Favor and all the others, because they're the built-in fees, taxes, everything associated that now would you spend, you may have spent $10 on that item, but now with all the extra stuff, it's $30. Well, that's $20 wasted. Total waste. When you start to really look and put together a plan, I know that you will be able to see where the money has been going, as well as have more of what you are in need of. When you look too at, okay, well, maybe there's some things that I can be doing at home that I haven't done, or maybe instead of buying it, I make it. Apple cider vinegar, ladies and gentlemen, but apple cider vinegar is easy. It's apples and sugar and water in a jar for 30 days. Strain it, apple cider vinegar, you're done. When you buy the apples on sale, guess what? You just saved $6, $7 from what you buy in the store that all these Satanists start to now own. So there's that. So everything becomes simple. The one final thing that is important that I shared with someone just last week, and it sounds, I know, really, really kind of funny, but it's actually eye-opening. So if you happen to live in an area where they like to do the rolling blackouts, and many people are talking about the EBS or the EAS alert that there might not be electricity for extended periods of time, or if you live in a place like where Portugal and Spain, where they just went, and then it went into Belgium and France, the power outage, and let's say that you are wise and you have your chest freezer or you have an upright freezer and it's not all the way full. Okay, so there's rolling blackout and your freezers will keep everything for the 72 hours, but if it's not all the way full, then things won't last as long. So I was praying this was last week. Now it would be easy enough to just go to the store and buy a bag of ice, right? But why go through all that? That's a hassle. Who has time? So if you have a freezer that makes the ice cubes, what I started doing is this, is each morning I have a gallon bag and it's filled with ice cubes and I just toss it in the freezer. So now, and it sounds, I know, kind of funny in some ways, but when we're always doing something on our way to doing something, if you have not yet stocked your freezer because you're going through the stockpile of what was in there and you've got these extra spaces, well, guess what? Fill them with ice. So then that way, that first layer of your freezer, if you lift up the lid, now it's all ice and everything else will last longer. If you have the chest freezer or the upright freezer, fill it. And then when you have the items, you're just exchanging it for the ice cube, put the item in there, and it's not a loss, and then you reuse the bag. Okay, so these sound very simple, and they are very simple, but these are the times where we have to think outside the box. And it's incredible how much ice I have now. It's kind of funny, but everything is always moving over here to the overflow. I walk in the overflow all the time. So this is the overflow of what I'm being able to share with you today as you go forth. You need a plan. You need a structured plan. You need a plan for you. You need a plan for your household. You need inventories of everything of what you have. So, and you need to be aware of what the price of items are so that as you plan, you can be sustainable through what is to come. Get your vehicles checked, get your home in order, check out some estate sales and garage sales. That's what I was going to share with you, and then I'm out. The garage sales and estate sales, there's always cleaning supplies. Sounds kind of funny, but I can tell you that if there's cleaning supplies always for sale that are like a quarter, maybe $1. Okay, I'm using it. I'll spend $1 for 3/4 of something instead of 6 for 100%. Okay, I just saved that. That $5 can now be multiplied into something else that I know I'm going to need, like 2,000 containers of soap. You know, it all starts to be moving in a direction where we're doing something on our way to doing something, ensuring that we have a storehouse in our home, that there's no holes, that there's no nibblers, there's no parasites, and that we're moving forward to get through. You've got to get that mindset partnered with the Word of God to know that God will supply, and He's supplying, and that you're not just sitting there waiting for whatever to fall out of the sky. It doesn't quite work that way. When you start moving, you'll be able to see what God will do. And he's been doing this through me for a very, very long time, for years. So I pray that all of these things are helping you, giving you some ideas. So tell your wives, tell your children, tell your husbands to be watching, because I'm going to continue to be giving you more things so that you can really get your house in order and have an order of things, so that you are not fretting and panicking and everything else that the world will be doing. That's it for today. We do pray every day at the 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I invite you to join us every single day. People from all over the world are joining in. We know that the global economy is changing and shifting. We are all seeing it, watching it, testifying, seeing what's happening in our nation, from Australia, all over the UK, the United States, Norway. Things are happening. Join us in prayer. You can also visit me at julieblairministries.org, as well as make certain that you are a cheerful giver. Give where you are getting fed. It doesn't matter the dollar amount. Just set yourself up to be positioned to be a giver. All you got to do. If you have any comments or things that you are doing, please share, because we need to really be looking at what we're going to be doing here and how we're going to be getting it done. I'd like to know. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you've not hit that subscribe button, will you please help me? Help me by doing that. I know a lot of they keep decreasing things, and people are being unsubscribed because they're telling me, hey, you'd unsubscribe me. We know the times that we're in, but you know what? God is greater, and we're going to keep our focus there. So please help me do that. And God bless you. Have a fantastic day, and I will be back soon. Bye.